Hey guys, how we doing today? Hopefully you're having a good day. We are going to look at section 2.1, the second part of it, slope-intercept form. So I want you to flip to page 20 in your packet. We're going to do some notes so you can learn how to do this stuff. All right, this may be new to you. I'm not sure whether they touched on this last year or not. So make sure you are ready to go with your packet. Okay. All right, so what we want to be able to do now, yesterday we were looking at an equation in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, and we learned that m is our slope, which is our rise over run, and b is our y-intercept. Okay, remember, x and y are just all those ordered pairs that are on the graph. So what we want to be able to do today is write the equation of the line that passes through this point and has a specific slope. So what we need to be able to do is find the slope and write that in for the m, and we want to be able to find the y-intercept and write that in for the b. But notice here we don't have a graph. So when we don't have a graph, we can't just graph it. We're going to have to do it algebraically. Okay, we're going to use equations to solve it. So when we start example 3, I have over here the directions on how to do this. All right, so first, when we have the slope already and we need the b, all right, look, I don't have a b. What do I have? I have an x and y ordered pair, and I have the slope m. Okay, so those are the three things I have. In my formula, y equals mx plus b, if I have the m, the x, and the y, I can plug in those values or substitute in those values. And what I would need to do is solve it for b. So that's exactly what the steps are right here. Substitute in the y, the m, and the x. And then we're going to solve it for b. And then once we have b, we're going to be able to write our equation by filling in the slope that we already know and the b that we're finding. Okay, so here's how it goes. So substitute in y equals, substitute in y, m, and x. So I'm just going to write down y equals mx plus b. And I know y is -3. So I'm going to put a -3 in for y. M is -2. And I know x is 4 plus b. And now it's two easy steps to get this solved. Okay, all we need to do is multiply right here. -2 times 4 is -8. And then I'm going to bring everything else down. And then it's a one-step equation, guys. In order for me to solve for b, I add 8 to both sides of the equation. So b, because that will cancel out, so b equals 8 plus -3, or -3 plus 8 is 5. So I now know my b is 5. So the two things we need in order to, so I'm going to highlight this for us. So we have our m, now we have our b, now we can write our equation. Okay? Once you have those two things, you can write your equation. So what is our final answer? Our final answer is y equals, now fill in your m, which is -2, and fill in your b, which is +5. And that is how you write an equation in slope-intercept form when you're given an m and a coordinate on the graph, in other words, a point. Okay, so let's look at that one more time to make sure we got it. So we're going to start with y equals mx plus b, and we're going to substitute in y, m, and x. So here's my x, here's my y, and then here's my m. All right, so here we go. Y is -4 equals m is 0, x is 3, and that's times. Okay, so see how it was times back here? It's times right here. And then I don't know what b is, so you're going to leave it blank, and you're going to solve for it. Okay, so remember, it's two steps. You multiply, 0 times 3 is 0. That actually cancels out. So I'm going to drop down b equals -4. Guys, this one was actually easier because we didn't even have that one-step equation like we did over here at the end. So now we are pretty much finished. I have my m and I have my b, so we're going to go ahead and plug those in to y equals mx plus b, and we'll have our answer. So here we go. Y equals, well, what was my m? 0. So 0, x, and then minus 4. So remember from yesterday's, a zero slope means you have a horizontal line that goes straight across, and I can eliminate this, and it would be y equals -4. Okay? So if you write y equals 0, x minus 4, I probably wouldn't mark you wrong, but you really should be able to simplify that equation, and you should know that 0 times anything is 0, and it would drop out. Okay, so that's how we do that first example 3. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. If not, watch it again. All right, these are two pretty simple problems. Now example 4 is really similar. They still want you to write the equation of the line, but now instead of giving you a point and a slope, they give you 2 points. So because they gave you a point and a slope up at the top, what you want to do first is find what that slope is. And we already learned how to find slope from 2 points. We did x, y, and we use the slope formula. To find m, remember, we do the second y minus the first y, divided by the second x minus the first x. Remember I told you guys, because I taught this one in class or in our virtual class, and I said, hey, make sure you really remember how to find your slope because you're going to need it. And here it is, okay? So now our first step is to find our slope. Once we have our slope, then we can sub in just like we just got done doing. Excuse me. But right now, we are just going to find our slope first. So here is point 1, here is point 2. So to find our slope, we're going to do 9 minus 1. So 9 minus 1, our second y minus our first y, and our second x minus our first x. All right, so our slope is going to be 8 over -2, which reduces to -4. So we just figured out our slope is -4. Okay, so now just remember, you only need 1 point and 1 slope to find your equation. So I would pick one of those points and your slope, and now we're going to do exactly what we did above, and we're going to substitute the x, the y, and the m into the equation and solve it for b. Okay, so it's just one additional step of us finding our slope. Okay, so now here we go. So y equals mx plus b. Okay, here's our m, it's -4. Here's our x, and here's our y. So we're going to plug in those 3 values. Okay, I'm just going to leave this one off because remember, it doesn't matter what point we pick as long as we just pick one of the points. So in this one, y is 1, m is -4, and x is 0. So times 0 plus b. So we're going to solve that. And remember, you multiply. So -4 times 0 cancels. So bring everything down, and we just found out b equals 1. So all I need to do is substitute my b and my slope back into that equation. Remember, because our whole goal is to find the m and to find the b. I have that right here. Write the equation using m and b. Okay, so now all I have to do is go back and write y equals m is -4, x, and then b is +1. So there's my equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, and remember, x and y are just all those ordered pairs that are on the line. This one is, and there's a whole lot more. But these are the ones that we just use to help us get the equation of the line. Okay, so let's look at this one more time. Start off, since we have 2 ordered pairs, the only thing I can do with 2 ordered pairs is find my slope. So I'm going to label them. I need to be able to find my slope. So x and y, x and y. So in order to find my slope, I take my second y minus my first y, 12 minus 2. And then I'm going to take my second x, 7, minus my first x, 2. And again, this is the one where you can pop right in the calculator and it'll reduce it for you. 10 over 5, which is 2. So my slope is 2. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Okay, so now I have my slope and I have a point. So now I'm just going to go ahead and sub in. I'm on step 2. Sub in the y, the m, and the x, and get my b. So that way I can put my m and b into the equation and write the equation of the line. Okay, so I'll highlight it for you again so you can see it. And the more you do this, the easier it's going to get. All right, my m is 2. We're going to use this point. And remember, the last thing we need to do is find this b over here. So that's where we do this blue stuff. We take y equals mx plus b, and we sub in the y, the m, and the x. So y is 2, m is 2, x is 2. How funny. And then plus b, so that way we can find the b. So I'm going to pull that line down. And what we're going to do here is 2 times 2 is 4 plus b equals 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. And then I brought down the b and I brought down the 2. And now this one I have to solve for b. So I'm going to subtract the 4. Okay, when I solve that, I get b equals 2 minus 4 is negative 2. So I just got my b. So I'm able to write my equation now because now I have my m and my b. So the last step is y equals m is 2, x, and then the b, the plus b, well, that's going to be a minus 2 this time because it's negative. And there's my equation of the line that has a slope of 2 and goes through these 2 points. And then again, remember, there's tons of points that can go through. That is just 2 of them. Okay? All right, so that's where we're going to stop. I know there's a story problem down here. This maybe we will do later, but you do it the same way. You pull these 2 points off the graph and you write the equation. But I think we have enough with just being able to write those equations without doing it in the context of a story problem. So we'll stop there and maybe we'll do example 5 in class together. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And let me know during office hours if you have any questions, if there's anything I can help you with. But go back to these examples and use this how box. This how box will really tell you exactly what you need to do in order. Okay, so this how box when you have 2 points, and then this how box up here when you have a point and a slope. Okay, so refer to that when you need to. All right, guys, we'll see ya.